Hey, hello, and welcome back, everybody, to podcast number 99. Now, you know what this means. After this one, we hit 100 triple digits. How exciting. Of the DanJohnUniversity.com podcast. Welcome back. We have a lot of questions today. Let's get to them. First thing I'd like to remind everybody is that we just finished a new course over at DanJohnUniversity.com on part 1, Easy Strength. I answer a lot of questions on Easy Strength. And frankly, sometimes I wonder why people just can't figure out how basic and how simple it is. But I get it. I mean, not a lot of people have the experience. Not a lot of people, I don't know, whatever the gift I have that allows me to go into a gym and do 2 sets of 5 and come back and continue doing that for 40 days. So listen, over there at danjohnuniversity.com, if you use the discount code Easy Strength with no space, you'll get a membership to the site for 3 months, and then you'll get half off the program, the course on Easy Strength. The course is $100, but if you join, it's only $50. So you'll spend $79. You'll get the course, and you'll get 3 months using the workout generator and access to all that wonderful stuff we have up on the site that's worth your time and energy to read. You know, I'm thinking about not answering Easy Strength questions anymore. I'm thinking about not answering goal questions anymore, programming questions, because sometimes I think it's your responsibility to have the academic rigor and integrity to go in and find out a few things on your own. I keep doing the work for everybody, and it reminds me of that old cliche. You know, if you teach a person to fish, you feed them for a day. That's not how it goes. If you give a person a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach a person to fish, you teach them how to get fish the rest of their life. I'm not very good at cliches. I avoid them like the plague. But that was a joke. But I do think sometimes by people just simply now can just type in, ask a question. I worry sometimes that because they just keep asking questions, they never actually learn. We had an interesting discussion yesterday about a woman at the farmer market who cut in line and then asked this poor guy who we get our meat from probably 25 questions. The poor guy did everything he could to help. And then she just walked away without thanking him, though we all stood in line in 110-degree heat and melting asphalt while she asked questions like, he said, "We're near Liberty Park. Where's Liberty Park?" And then he gave the address to Liberty Park, and she didn't understand the south and the east of it. So, yeah, there you go. So sometimes I think you just need to listen and learn. But until then, Easy Strength, the new course, part 1. It's long. It's good. We have my 2 favorite sections are the last 2 parts on Easy Strength across a lifetime and Easy Strength for fat loss. I think there's a lot to learn, a lot to understand. You might not need everything I teach you, but I think all of it will be useful for you long term. Thank you. Let's begin. Well, we got a question from Scott, and this is a tough one. My lovely wife has cancer. She had 5 major surgeries in the last 18 months, and just yesterday her surgeon said it's only a matter of time now. She doesn't have long left, and we have a 4-year-old son. I am just so sad. I lost my father 17 years ago, also to cancer, and I know from the podcast that you've experienced bereavement yourself. When I was younger, I didn't ask for much help, which was to my detriment. Now I'm 40, and a father, I'm not shy to put my hand up when I'm struggling. I try to live by controlling the controllables and not worrying about the other stuff, but this is totally out of my hands. My question is there anything you've come across in your life, in or out of the weight room, that has particularly helped you or any of your athletes get to times like these? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Well, first off, Scott, I think I speak for everybody who listens. First off, how amazed I am that you reached out. And I can't tell you how heartbroken I am for you. Um, so there's a couple things we need to do. First off, keep reminding yourself each and every day you have a 4-year-old son. And your 4-year-old son has to be given the chance to spend time with mom, given the chance to grieve, um, given the chance to go through the roller coaster of grief. Um, you know, the number one thing that's helped me with grief in my life is knowing that, number one, first and foremost, nobody grieves alike. And that was my knock on Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's work. I've, I've never had denial in my whole life. And I know a lot of people who do. But the first thing that's always helped me, nobody grieves alike. And then number two, and I've already said it, but grief is a roller coaster. You just don't know what's going to set you off. Scott, the universe has asked you to do a tough thing. The universe has asked you to deal with the death of your beloved, and to raise a boy who's probably not going to understand a lot of things. I do know this, and this is just from my grief counseling courses. Be sure not to tell they always warn us not to tell your child that mommy's with the angels, or mommy's with God, or mommy's in heaven. And one of the reasons is little kids have a hard time discerning what you're talking about. This is what I was told. All I can say is, when it was explained to me, it made sense. And it is important to talk about things like, she's dead, and you when it comes, it is important. I jumped the gun a little bit, but it is important to talk to your child that, mommy is sick. She has something called cancer. And even though I know 4-year-olds don't completely understand things, my grandchildren are 8, 7, and 3 months, and obviously I can't. They don't understand the wind and the currents of a cancer. But you do your best, and I think it helps to be a square shooter and talk. And nobody. And here's the funny thing: I'm 64. I can't comprehend it either. So it's okay that a 4-year-old can't comprehend it either. So it breaks my heart to read this. I would do my best, if I were you, to at least get a walk in every day. And I would suggest as best you can to walk with your child, and do what you can to support your spouse. Maybe any way you can bring her along. Walking will help. A little bit of weightlifting. I used to joke in my early articles about I don't work out, I work it out. The stresses of my life I deal with in the gym. Dropping plates, dropping weights and plates seems to really help me deal with these tough issues in life. Mentally, nobody has a good answer for this. I do think it might be a good idea, as early as you can, to get involved in a grief support group. They're obviously a lot different than the anonymous groups, but it does help. With anonymous groups, what sometimes will help, there's two things that help with anonymous groups. One is that you hear that somebody else has your story too, and it makes you feel much less alone. And that's one of the things you're going to have to deal with, is this feeling of loneliness. And then the other thing that it helps you do is, when you tell your story, at least in the anonymous groups, there will be people who say, okay, stop right there. Don't stop right there. You know better, or whatever the phrase will be. You can, what are they will stop you with your own BS, with your own self-talk. You're facing a tough situation, Scott, that nobody wants to go through. And yet we all go through it. It's just that it's just a little early for you. Emotionally, yeah, support groups are amazing. People are going to call you up and say, I'll do anything to help. In fact, I'm telling you that too. I'll do anything to help you. One thing it might be a real good idea is for you to keep a pad of paper and a pen. And when they say, um, call me if you want to help, give them the pad of paper and put their phone number down. And maybe it might be a good idea for you to call up, Edna one time, Charlie the next time, because that might help you a lot. What really helps, and if your friends and family need to know what to do, writing letters, having notes helps a lot. You're gonna be, you're not gonna be prepared for this. You're not gonna be prepared for anything. There is no course you can take. Um, but as you move through the process, the Psalm teaches us to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and that's very important. You're not going to sprint through it. You're not going to run through it. You're going to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and it's a walk. And so you just have to remind yourself that you're going to walk through it. Scott, I want you to contact our podcast. I want you to give me some contact information. And just like all your good friends and your family members will tell you, I do want to be there to help you. Thank you. We have a question from Brad. I enjoy doing something small away from my normal 4-day-a-week gym sessions. I was planning to do a daily armor building complex for 1 rep each day for a week, 2 reps each day following week, and continue until I can't keep up with the workout. Well, I think the first couple of weeks will be kind of easy. Thoughts? Yes, the first couple of weeks will be kind of easy. I don't know. I mean, I think the armor building workout, it's about a twice a month program. If you decide to do it more often, I would recommend something just follow along with it. In a 4-week period, Monday, Friday, week 1, Wednesday, week 2, Monday, Friday, week 3, Wednesday, week 4. That's about as much volume as I think there's value to it. But with your idea, I mean, I'm imagining because it's daily, you'll probably will be able to get somewhere between 5 and 10 rounds before you say, this is idiocy. We have more questions. There anything to keep an eye out overtraining wise? Yeah, there's going to be, with the double kettlebell clean into that one single press, some people do feel when they get fatigued, when their hands get fatigued, they start to catch the kettlebell a little bit shoulder heavy when their hands get fatigued. So you start to do your kettlebell drop. You start to drop a little bit like this under grip fatigue. That would be something I keep an eye on. If your grip starts to go, don't keep doing them. It is a 24 and 32 kilo kettlebell I would be using. So really 2 reps, 4 reps, etc. to have the heavy bell and alternating hands each rep. Brad, I like it. I think you're going to be your own little Star Trek. You're exploring new worlds that no one has gone before. And so just remember to report back to Planet Earth every so often, okay? Thank you. Simon says, coming to easy strength from cycling, there is one muscle that I don't see talked about, the heart. Well, Simon, this is funny. This is how I know you don't read my work. Today, we did a very light, easy strength workout, and then I went for a nice long walk. I believe walking is cardio. Of course, sitting in this chair talking to you is cardio too. In my new course, you can find at danjohnuniversity.com, I have quite a bit on cardiovascular training with easy strength, because one of the things you do easy strength for is that those 15-minute workouts, somebody told me they're 45-minute workouts this week, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing that takes you to lift that long? And then they told me, and it was like, that's not easy strength. If it takes you 45 minutes to do 2 sets of 5 and basically 3 exercises, some ab wheel, and then do a loaded carry. How the hell can you turn that into a 45-minute workout? You don't need to cook a turkey between each set. That's kind of funny. I'm going to remember that. I know generally that long cardio and strength aren't the best bedfellows, but wanted to ensure that the heart strength I've developed won't be lost. So you have a terrible image of strength and conditioning, the one I hate the most. You've put it on a line with strength here and cardiovascular work over here. And we know that those two things swim together. If you watch the Olympics, the Olympic trials especially, you watch your 5,000 meter runners, maybe not in the technical final. Now you got to be careful. The final is a race to get gold, silver, and bronze. But sometimes in the semis, you'll notice that the people go much faster. There's a rare human being who can keep up one lap with an elite 5,000 meter runner. And then they just keep going and going and going and going and going. Most elite distance runners lift a lot of weights. I mean, they take lifting very seriously. Now, maybe they don't deadlift 1,000 pounds, but, they certainly get the work done. Any reason you don't have a standard for heart strength? All that work, all the times I've shared the work of Phil Maffetone, and you say that on my podcast to me. Simon, you have offended me to the core of my offense. Yeah, I mean, I think I've told the story about when the machine at my doctor's office wasn't calibrated right, and I was the first person to get the test. And my cholesterol levels were so bad, Dr. Brunetti called me up and said, we're sending you to a cardiologist. And of course, the whole story is kind of funny. And while I've got this, so they put this horse collar on you, and then they put you inside of this big machine, and you're just strapped and wrapped. You've got electrodes over everything. And then, and you can't drink coffee for 48 hours, which was the hardest thing for me. And then this guy takes a needle and he shoves it into your neck like this. And just as he's getting ready to shove his needle into my neck, he says to me, Mr. John, what are you here for? I said, I have some kind of heart problem. And he goes, your pulse is 68. I go, is that bad? He goes, no, that's really good considering what we're about to do. My heart shot up to 75 and then 79 with this little drug they put in you that freaks you out. I think my heart's in pretty good shape, according to my cardiologist and my doctor, because after I do my easy strength workout, I either heavy hands, ruck, bicycle, whatever. It would be high on my goals for health and longevity. My heart rate is raised in easy strength, but I do wonder if that's raised enough to fully benefit. So Simon, I don't know how you're emailing me on the podcast and have missed the fact that whenever I do an easy strength workout or talk about easy strength, I always recommend you instantly go out and do your sport. I don't know how you missed that, but there you go, Simon. Simon says, that question, Danny says, read my work. Thank you, Simon. Actually, it's a good question. I had a little fun with you. Tom asks us, I'm a physiotherapist, and in my therapy practice, I use a ton of hypnosis. I could tell you did. Guided meditation to help clients with a host of issues. Recently, I've had a request from a high school client who practices karate, or as Dwight from The Office says, karate, to do hypnosis recording to help him with his sport. I recorded an improved sports performance hypnosis track for him and put it on my podcast. I have received great feedback from this and from other clients and want to do more for sports and even weightlifting. So, my question, and I know you use and believe in meditation and guided imagery. What are some simple cues, guided imagery examples that you would recommend that I use in hypnosis for clients? One of the things I would recommend, and this is why I like Brain.fm so much, I was one of their beta testers, is that they have that they do a real good job with the white. So when I do this, I use a lot of white noise. I use a lot of white noise. I have, and they do that. Chung, 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 chung. I like that. I think there's real value Um, they say it actually works with the brain waves. But what I like about the white noise, and I have a white noise machine over there for when I sleep, is it diminishes the noises from where I live, which is kind of quiet anyway. But I also have Leo, who's a baby in my house, and so I can't hear with the white noise. So I like that. First off, so the background noise is important. So you can do. You'll notice that a lot of people use the seashore. You hear a lot of kind of rainforest noises. I think there's value to that in the background. I also think it's really valuable just to go back to just use relax and win or quantum fitness's thing, but make sure there's a real focus on belly breathing. I like to either do crocodile breathing on your belly so your lower back has to come up, or put your hands on the belly so your belly, you can feel when you inhale, your belly gets bigger. When you contract, it gets smaller. I think that really helps. Talk about breathing. Talk about breathing. I'm a big fan of telling the person that their forehead is cool and their belly is warm. I know that's an older technique, but I think it worked really well. I also like the guided, if you make a fist with your right hand. Now relax. Now extend your fingers. Now relax. Now, you go this way and then you relax. You go this way and then you relax. And then you tighten up the forearms both ways or all ways. Whether you start with the toes, feet, it's up to you. One small issue, many people when they cramp, when they decide to flex their toes and do this with the toes, flex and extend, they do get foot cramps, which will kind of undo everything you want. I would not necessarily tell you to do specific things for the sport itself. I've done guided imageries for Olympic lifting and discus throwing. I think it takes a level of skill that maybe a young person doesn't need yet to visualize the perfect throw or lift. But so those are just some ideas. Ambient noise, belly breathing, focusing on the cool forehead, actively contract and relax the different body parts. Oh, huge! Another big one too. Make a big frown, and then smile, big smile, and relax. Wiggle your jaw. Getting this area to relax seems to really help this area relax, and of course, then it really does flow downstream from there. Gosh, I hope that helps you. My knock on using YouTube, as I did in the past, is now they have so many commercials that, you're walking on a beach enjoying the sun. The important thing about the, Omega 5000 wing bean is, So, but yeah, and if you have if you have an example or two you want to share, I would be honored, Tom, to stick one up on either my YouTube site or on my web pages to see if that helps you with your business. All right. Thank you, my friend. We have somebody named Jeremy, and Jeremy is 42 years old, and he's been on a 20-year bulk. How's that going for you, Jeremy? I was recently in New York City, and trust me, Americans have figured out how to bulk up. It's time to get this weight off once and for all. I finally gotten to the point where my weight is affecting my training and my life in general. Recently diagnosed as pre-diabetic, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. We call it Syndrome X a few years ago. My question is, with all the conflicting and confusing information out there on diet, what are some of your basic principles of dieting, especially for someone with a significant amount of weight to lose, 50 to 100 pounds? Well, I take this seriously. I think this is a decision I made a while ago, and I'm continuing on this decision process. I'm not long from now, I'll proudly report to the world that I've lost 41 pounds this year because I want to lift in a lighter class, and I want to dance at my granddaughter's wedding, and I want to be around for my grandson Leo. to be old enough to be able to walk with him. And this stuff's important to me. So, first off, medical intervention. And it seems like you've already done it. I'm hoping that your medical professional, maybe metformin, maybe glucophage, maybe a blood pressure thing, high cholesterol pills, something like that. And that's terrible that you have to take them. And there's going to be some side effects from them. But here's our goal. I want you off of them pretty soon. I don't know how long that's going to take. But let's make our goal, Jeremy, to get you off those meds by losing that body fat and turning this engine around. So, medical intervention number one. Did you see a dentist? Because if you have issues with fillings and crowns and stuff, let's get those cleaned up so that when you do go on this stuff I'm going to tell you, you can chew what I ask you to chew. All right, couple quick points. So, medical intervention, go see the dentist. Medical intervention, go see the dentist. Boy, I tell you, just after those two, you're going to already start to get, you're going to get the whole, yeah, I'm in trouble, man. I got to take care of this biz now. So I would start, let's just start simple. Let me give you, I'm going to give you 3 quick things I want you to think about. Layer number 1, stop drinking calories. Make that decision. A lot of people who see me on road trips might not know this, but I gave up alcohol essentially this year. I still drink, and I have very specific times when I drink. I try to only drink, by God, the rule was weddings, celebrations, clear celebrations. What's funny is, so I find it when I go to the weddings and these clear celebrations now, I have one beverage, and sometimes I'm like, why do I even have that? Obviously, sometimes when I'm hanging around at certain things like post kettlebell cert, I'll drink more beer because frankly, I'm sore, tired, and exhausted. No beer for you. No beer for you. No calories in your beverages. I don't want to hear about smoothies. I don't want to hear about fruit drinks. Your drinks are tea, they're coffee, they're water. And you listen, I'm not going to fight it anymore. Diet drinks are fine. I'm a big fan of a few of them. I have found that certain diet drinks stop my urge for alcohol because I've discovered that sometimes at night I'm just simply thirsty. I'm not. I don't need to get pounded. I just need a drink of water with a little taste. So there. Number 2, I want you to start eating a vegetable at every meal. And boy, I'd love it if I could get you to eat kimchi, which is that Korean cabbage, fermented Korean cabbage. But 1, no drinking calories. 2, I would like you to try a vegetable at every meal. And what we're going to talk about over time is multiple vegetables at every meal. And then over time, even more than that. Okay? And number 3, I want you to start walking if you haven't already. Walking is amazing. I want you to get to the point that when, like a couple of weeks ago for me, we needed to get a car here. So I drove the car here and then I walked back to my daughter's house because, and it's about a 2.5 mile walk. When I got in there, people said, "Oh, I thought you were walking." And I said, "Well, I did." And it's funny because everybody had to kind of recalibrate what a 2.5 mile walk is. It's not 7 hours. It could be, easily under an hour, easily probably faster than that, frankly. I'd like to start walking. Those are the big 3. Let's go. Boom. Good. I want you to go to Dan John University. I want you to sign up for the workout generator second. I want you to pick 3, 4, 5 days a week, general stuff with the equipment that you have. But I do want you lifting weights. But here's one little thing. After you lift weights, so this is second, part 2. Don't drink calories, veggies, walk. Part 2. As soon as you get used to those, I want you to start doing the workout generator and going for a walk after that. Part 3, I want you to start thinking about fasting every day. Even if you don't want to fast, I do want you to push your your breakfast later and your dinner earlier as best you can. Some people call this compressing the eating window, and I think that's fine. I think there'll be some real value in for you. Um, Somebody asked me one time, why does fasting help you lose weight? And I said, well, when you're fasting, you're not shoveling food in your mouth the whole day. I thought that was genius. I don't know why I don't get more recognition or the Nobel Prize for nutrition. I don't know why. Maybe because there's not one. Maybe that's the only thing holding me back from my Nobel Prize. Um, so let's do that, Jeremy. Here's the thing: medical, dental intervention. One, two, those three simple steps I told you. Stop drinking calories, veggies, walking. Third one, when you get a chance, workout generator, a couple days a week, followed by walking. Try to, and at the same time, try to decrease your daily eating window. I got to tell you, it took me about a decade to get used to it, in full honesty. Now, if I was on the internet or online or in a workshop, I would tell you that the very first time I fasted, it was perfect. And instantly I lost, 42% body fat, and I look like Arnold in Pumping Iron. None of that would be true, but it's a good story. Um, I'm here for you, brother. I know it's tough. Try those ideas and get back to me. We have another tough question here today. We have a question from Julian. My mother is and always has been a very toxic influence in my life. She's constantly berating me about my life choices, career choices, and just generally cruel to me and others, people I care about. The guilt I feel in having ill feelings to the woman who gave me life is heavy. You mentioned that you have a family that poops on you often to the point that you don't really talk to them much. That wouldn't be true anymore. But yeah, when I was young, man, it was like anytime I told people I want to do, but you have to be careful too about this. And this is a shout out to my sister Corrine. My sister Corrine has always, 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 always been in my corner, always supported me. When I told her in the 9th grade that I wanted to go to Utah State to throw the discus for Ralph Mon, she just kind of nodded her head and said, you can do this. And I said, why? And she goes, because you're a great athlete. I had never heard that phrase attributed to me in my life. But I certainly understand with, and I love my brother Phil of blessed memory, died 2 years ago as I'm speaking today. Today's been an emotional day. He was pretty hard on me. My brother Gary, who's still with us, he was very hard on me too. Just everything. And frankly, and I love my mom, but she hated the word gonna. You're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. Funny thing is, Mom, I love you, but I did what I said I was gonna do, so I did okay. So now to your question. Any advice for me, as it seems to be getting more and more heavy on me, especially as I'm to get married next year, and I can only imagine the scene she'll make there. I really don't want her or my brother there, but that's a bridge I don't want to burn in not inviting them. Well, Julian, invite me to your wedding. I'll give a toast. I'll speak highly of you. I mean that. Julian, this is way beyond my ability to help you. All I can just say this is just this. I understand you. This is going to sound so 1970s pop psychology, but I heard everything you wrote. I understood it. I heard everything you said. I appreciate and I know how tough it can be. My brother and I repaired everything before he died, thankfully. He said some exceptionally cruel things to me in our youth. He didn't invite me to it. He didn't, I don't think, yeah, I don't remember exactly the story, but he didn't invite me to his wedding. And now, and he told me another time, well, I didn't want you there anyway. That's tough stuff. That's tough stuff to hear. Having said that, as the Weavers told us back in 1980, this too shall pass. And a lot of this stuff that you're going through now will pass. I don't know how big the wedding is, but, no one's the boss of you. I mean, if you have to make tough decisions, I mean, I support you. I mean, I understand why you need to politically to invite everybody, but at the same time, I get it. And I don't know what else to say to you. I'm kind of running out of pop psychology, but I sure appreciate what you said. And I know how tough it is. Part of the most joy of my life was getting myself to the place where all the naysayers I ever dealt with, I could just say nicely, "You're wrong. I am better. I did these things." I grew up in a rough neighborhood and kind of a rough town, South San Francisco, Francisco Terrace. You know, and to move beyond a lot of the stuff I grew up with and saw, with the brothers going to Vietnam, some disintegration of normal family life. The thing that I think helped me the most was that I just keep, you know, one foot in front of the other and kept my eye on the prize, kept my eye on my goals. I do have a goal setting course over at the university. I'm not selling it to you, but I think one of the reasons I'm so goal and values focused as a human person is because of those rough times I had in my own life. And that's why I do so many things for people like you, my friend, to make a difference if I can. I don't think I helped you, but sometimes just hearing someone say, I support you, I'm walking with you, that sometimes is enough. Good question. I wish I could help more. We have a question from Rob. What an interesting day we're having. Your attribution to kimchi helping with your fat loss has got me trying it and attempting to make my own. Both are great. Yeah, my attempt at making kimchi told me that it's much cheaper and smarter to go to this really nice little Korean market over here and just buy it by the gallon. Yeah, my attempt was, I can't say it nice, horrible. Though my sauerkraut's fabulous. Don't ask. This has got me wondering, what type of kimchi have you been eating, and have you been making your own? If so, do you have a recipe to share? So at the Korean restaurant I go to here in Murray, I asked the nice lady, because everything's in Korean, so I can't really tell the difference. I asked for the stuff that's made in shop. So it's the freshest, and it's the most, I got to tell you one thing, it's got stuff in there. I think I'm glad I don't know the ingredients sometimes, because a lot of the stuff as I eat it, if I were to venture to guess what it was, you probably would never eat it. Also, when you're eating your kimchi, are you having it with anything or just having it on the side? I do both. You're not going to like what I do. So I also make overnight oatmeal. That's okay. I take a scoop of protein powder that I got from Danielle Woodward, and then I add chia seeds, I add sunflower seeds, and I just dust. So the bowl's about this big, and I just make a layer of chia, a layer of flower seeds, and then I add raw oatmeal on that. So protein powder, chia, sunflower, raw oatmeal. I sprinkle some powdered cinnamon on top of that. Sometimes I add raisins. My daughter Lindsay doesn't like them, so I don't put the raisins in very often. And then I pour in pure protein. It's a thing you buy over at the Costco or at Walmart or whatever. And we pour in 2 of those, and they got 30 grams each. So we got the protein on the bottom. We got the and then you just stir it. And I eat about a third of one of those, half one of those, a quarter of one of those sometimes. And I put them in a bowl, and I put the kimchi over here. But all the kimchi juice runs into the oatmeal. And I know fermented cabbage with oatmeal sounds terrible. And I would agree if it wasn't me telling you. 100% I'd be like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But I find it fantastic. It's kind of like when I was in college, they did an article on me. They did this big article on me. And what the sports writer found most interesting is I used to have to throw the hammer probably about 10 in the morning at track meets. Let's say the shot put to be 1:30 and the discus would be at 4. So it was real hard to eat during the day. So I would drink ice cold coffee. I invented it, I guess. and I'd eat grapefruit. Well, I found out later on that grapefruit has a stimulant in it, which is why it's always in diets. And when mixed with caffeine, it actually works. So I was getting this low end buzz of, it barely did anything, but iced coffee and grapefruit. The opening part of the article said something like, grapefruit and coffee might not sound like an ideal, sports performance beverage, but Dan John loves it. So oatmeal and kimchi might not sound like a perfect meal, but Dan John loves it. So that's how I do it. Sometimes I just eat kimchi. I've eaten it straight out of the jar, but the jars are really thick and deep, so it doesn't work as well as you think. But there are times I'll just eat, straight up kimchi, and I like that a lot. I try to eat kimchi now 2 or 3 times a day. I was just eating it once, but I just love what's happening to my body. So hope that helps, Rob. Thanks. We got a question from Jake. Hello, Jake. Question about the Army Combat Fitness Test. The 10-pound medicine ball toss is a real challenge for me. I think this is the second or third time this has been asked. I can barely get an 8-meter throw, while the max is 12.5. I have high relative strength, I think, but at 5'8" and 150 pounds, I don't have the girth and length to heave the thing any farther. Do you have any suggestions how to improve the throw? Yeah. So what I'd like you to do is, well, first off, okay, so let's do number one. When you next time you have a medicine ball, play catch with the medicine ball, or go online and look up the phrase Hoover ball and invite your friends to play Hoover ball. I only play it with the 4-pound Dynamax ball, so it prevents broken noses. As you can see in my talks, my nose has been broken at least 6 times that I know of. I guess 7 now. Geez, last October. Yeah. Quite a looker. And it's volleyball with the medicine ball, and it's a lot of fun. And you can also, if you don't want to get that formal, we used to play ultimate frisbee. We called it ultimate Hoover, and it's medicine ball ultimate. So you catch it and throw it, and you score by throwing the ball to someone across the line. I tell you, it's great. So play with the medicine ball more often. It'll get you in much better condition than you think, and it's just a lot of fun. Then, when you are practicing throwing the medicine ball, I want you say you barely get to 8 meters, so make a mark out there about 6 meters and practice throwing it to 6 meters as easy as you can. In my work, if you go to danjohn.net and you go to discus throwing, you'll notice I call this the Soviet drill because I picked this up from the Soviets. But and by the way, it's also the basis of easy strength. I got to keep reminding myself to talk about that more often. Is you don't try to improve your max, you try to nudge up your 80%. What you're going to find is it's going to be a real challenge to throw at just 6 meters. But you want to get maybe 10 throws, get 10 throws at 6 meters, and then maybe go, okay, I'm going to do 1 throw at 7, and then just add a little bit more to it. Odd thing, you might throw 9. New PR. Hell, you might throw the 12.5 meters. But I would just suggest that okay, how do you improve throwers? Throwers throw. You just need more throws. And I think it's a pretty believable thing with the 10-pound medicine ball. Okay? I would also, if you can, so you have the 4-pound, 6-pound Dynamax ball, do the test with that lighter, bigger ball a few times, just to get a sense of what we call, just to get a sense of it, okay? And don't worry about what we call it yet. All right, thank you. I hope that helps. Oh, we have a second question. Also, you say you get 8 vegetable servings a day, usually at breakfast. How does that look? It looks a hell of a lot like what I get over at Landmark Grill on 7200 South here over there in Midvale, Utah. Tell Marianne you're a personal friend of mine. So what I do is I just go out of my way to order vegetables. So when I go to a restaurant, I always order vegetables. Now, here at the house, when I eat breakfast, I already told someone what my breakfast is, but My breakfast always includes kimchi, the Korean fermented cabbage, and I just do my best to make sure we always have raw vegetables in the house. We just get used to chopping up. I mean, it's a rare dinner that we wouldn't have onions, three different kinds of peppers, tomatoes, not just in salads, but just in grilling them up. Once you start doing it, you just find tons and tons. Like if you live by yourself, the George Foreman grill is a magnificent vegetable maker. Remember, if you get when you grill vegetables, they become much sweeter. So slice. I buy fajita mix at the store because I'm too lazy to slice up all that stuff. And you can just take that fajita mix, just turn it on the grill like this, and go, and in just a few seconds you'll have. I think the fajita mix I use has 5 or 6 vegetables. So right there, just as a side for lunch, and if you decide to grill a delicious salmon burger or a black bean burger or a hamburger, then you'll get those vegetables in. Oh, by the way, yeah, one thing, veggie burgers, some of these new veggie burgers that have come out really do have a lot of vegetables in them too, so it's pretty easy to work. You then go on to a big green salad. Yeah, you can do that, but make sure the big green salad has stuff besides lettuce. It seems like a good shark bite to get your vegetables in first thing in the morning. Absolutely. That's the key. And I got to tell you something. I was at a thing one time and I said salad for breakfast. And there were people who responded to that like you would say smashing babies with baseball bats. I mean, it was like, what are you? No one eats salad for breakfast. Well, actually, yeah, you can kind of eat salad for breakfast. It's okay. Salad for breakfast is a win-win-win-win-win if you can do it. It does take a little bit longer to eat than some piece of crap from a fast food restaurant with a clown, but you'll long-term be happier you ate that. Okay, thank you. Good questions. We have a question from Francisco. Francisco, that's a nice name. I've just decided to run a more pure strength-based workout to get the movements down, never going over 5 sets. After about a month and a half of doing that, I'm realizing I need more volume. Well, volume should always precede intensity, but let's just see. I've hit a plateau well before where I used to be in terms of strength and size, and I'm either going to have to eat more or do more volume to build my work capacity. I just did a high volume workout for the first time in over a year, and it felt incredible. I like the idea of doing 3x8s for the push, pull, and squat most workouts, which is what I recommend. But I want to deadlift heavy at least once a week so I can progress my deadlift to double body weight. The thing that confuses me is how I should go about incorporating the deadlift. In a day where I should also be squatting? Well, why not just do the 3 sets of 8, push, pull, squat, breathe out, and then one day a week do the heavy deadlift, and the other couple days a week, however it works out, do a hinge variation that isn't so hard for you. Though honestly, if you did conventional deadlift, snatch grip deadlift, and rack deadlift 3 days a week, your deadlift would fly right up. Do you think it's a safe, good idea? Of course, yeah. 3 sets of 8 shouldn't kill you on the squat. He then asks at the end, should I do a fourth workout day to focus on deadlift? Every single one of your ideas is fine and good. I like them all. In fact, I got to tell you, I think from the heart, I've done them all. I don't get caught up in perfect here, and I think it seems like a little bit here, Francisco, that you're getting caught up in a perfect workout scenario. One little suggestion I have, and it sounds self-serving, but I know I'm right. Why don't you just go to the workout generator at Dan John University and just do that? I mean, it's going to program, so it'll maybe get you doing single leg deadlift variations or something like that those other days. It might be the easiest thing for you to do because the hypertrophy workout on the generator, the reps go 8s, 10s, 12, and you could easily program it to less reps on the deadlift. Though frankly, you can get freakishly strong in the deadlift with much higher reps than people think. I'm no expert on it. I've got books up here that explain it in great detail, but I'm no expert on that because for me, high reps is anything above 3. Wow, 3 is kind of high. Actually, 2 is way too much too. Just one, just singles. That's a joke. But yeah, I think any of your answers is fine. The workout generator might clarify a lot of things in your head for you. Well, I can't believe it. Episode 99 in the books. This was a really different kind of podcast today. We had a lot of questions that I don't know how many other strength coaches get asked. But I got to tell you from my heart, the fact that you trust me enough to ask those personal questions means more to me than I can possibly explain. You honor me. You honor my family. You honor my education. You honor my, you honor the communities I've grown up in. So thank you very much. Listen, folks, if you have questions, podcast at danjohnuniversity.com. As you can see from today's podcast, I'll answer anything you want, basically. Next time, triple digits. We'll see you then.